Thanks to glazedink.com for sponsoring this video. Do check out their website for the best screen protection for your smartphone. It's not easy to make a good screen protector, and it's even tougher to make one with curved edges, but that's exactly what Glazed Ink does with its 2.5D curved edge screen protectors that extend from edge to edge of the phone's glass and not just covering the display like other brands. You can get it for the Samsung M30s and practically any other smartphone available on the market right now by following the link in the description below or going to glazedink.com. Please make use of coupon code ATLAS to get 10% off on your order as well. Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video here on RevAtlas. I'm Sandeep, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the camera review of the Samsung Galaxy M30s smartphone. Now I know it's a bit late, but I just wanted to bring this out to you since many of you are still asking as to whether this is really worth the money that you're paying in order to get a good camera experience. Now before we get started, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button and also give us a thumbs up at the end of the video if you happen to enjoy it. Now let's get this video started. The Samsung M30s features a triple camera setup at the back that comprises of a primary 48 megapixel f2 sensor with half-inch sensor size and 0.8 micron pixel size. You get a 5 megapixel depth sensor as well and an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide angle camera. The primary camera takes photos with good dynamic range and colors, but with a bit of a greenish color cast at certain times. The sharpness and detail, however, fell lacking compared to what other 48 megapixel cameras offer in the same segment. Samsung has always had the issue of over-sharpening and excessive noise reduction happening even on their higher-end phones, and the same applies to the M30s as well. Low-light imaging isn't very good in the regular mode, and you get low exposure as well as unimpressive looking shots. Night mode needs to be used in such conditions, and while it does improve the overall look and exposure, zooming in will reveal flaws such as banding, excessive noise reduction and artifacts. Still, I personally would choose to go for night mode, and I'm sure most others would also prefer to go for the same over the underexposed shots. Samsung should tweak the algorithm a bit to get better results from the sensor. Portrait mode seems to apply a blur onto a non-HDR image, and as a result dynamic range is lesser, so in some situations it may be insufficient. The blur itself is well rendered and you get a nice and shallow depth of field, but edge detection has some issues, particularly around the ears where it misses out portions. But overall it still looks pretty good, and you can also get a pretty shallow depth of field if you get close enough to the object or subject. However, it does take a while before you're able to properly lock focus. The ultra wide angle camera is great in terms of the perspective it provides and the dramatic images that it can create. Samsung have also done a great job in nailing the consistency between the shots too in terms of the dynamic range, colors and overall vibe. There's some crazy distortion happening, however, especially if you get too close to an object, and this is particularly noticeable on straight lines. However, it suffers a lot in two ways. Number one, the sharpness is much worse than most other ultra-wide-angle camera smartphones in this category. We didn't expect to see such a huge fall-off in terms of sharpness between the primary and ultra-wide-angle camera, considering that the primary camera is already on the lower end when it comes to sharpness, but it's there. Number two, low-light photos aren't very impressive and are mostly underexposed, and there isn't any night mode either for the ultra-wide-angle camera to compensate for that. The front-facing camera is a 16 megapixel f2 1x3.1 inch 1 micron selfie shooter, and in terms of the overall dynamic range is good but not great. Highlights in particular are a pain point as they tend to get overexposed, but the shadows are well rendered and emphasis is given to ensure that the face isn't overexposed. The images output are soft, however, and despite turning off all beauty options whatsoever, there still seems to be some effect applied that affects the sharpness. When viewing on the phone it may not be as apparent, but when you zoom in or view on a larger screen, you'll notice the difference. You can shoot both narrow and wider fields of view, and the best part is that you can use them both with or without portrait mode. Apple's flagship phone, the iPhone 11 Pro Max, also allows wide-angle selfies, but you can't shoot portraits in that, but you can do so with the M30s. The portrait mode offers excellent blurring and bokeh, but the edge detection is a hit or a miss. Here again the sharpness gets worse as there seems to be more smoothing applied. In terms of video, you can record 1080p 30fps with EIS or 4K 30fps without EIS with the primary camera. I recommend using the 1080p with EIS since the video is just too shaky without it, unless you plan to use a gimbal or stabilizer, in which case you should go for 4K mode since it offers much better sharpness, detail and overall looks more refined. The ultra wide angle camera can also do 1080p 30fps with EIS as well, and we quite like the output quality, which seems to be consistent with the primary one as well in terms of video too. There's a super steady mode as well, which sounds awesome, but in reality we didn't notice too much of an improvement in terms of the stabilization. The front camera records 1080p 30fps videos as well, albeit without EIS, and while the video quality itself is good, the lack of EIS results in shaky videos. Hey guys, it's Sandeep from RevAtlas, and this is the front-facing camera on the Samsung M30s. capturing 1080p 30fps video. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, dynamic range, how well it's picking my voice in this particular scenario, and how good the quality is overall. So that was the camera review of the Samsung Galaxy M30s smartphone, and to be honest, I feel that Samsung has come a long way within this half a generation, I could say. So phones such as the M20 and M30 were not particularly good in terms of camera. In fact, the M20 was downright horrible, I would say, in terms of the camera that it offered, but the M30s actually makes a huge leap forward, both in terms of the camera quality, the performance, everything overall as a bundle. It seems much better than what its predecessors did offer, and that's a great thing to see. But if you ask me whether this is worth buying solely for the camera performance itself, I would say still no, considering that there are several smartphones on the market currently in this segment that offer a better camera experience at the same, if not lesser, price point. So if you're looking for camera performance alone, then the M30s is not for you. But if you want other things such as a long battery life, say the screen, the Samsung software experience and stuff like that, and the after sale support, then the M30s is worth considering, and you should check out a review of the phone as well, the full in-depth review. But just for the cameras alone, I don't think this is worth it. So that's it for this video, guys. As usual, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you liked it, and give us a thumbs up as well if you enjoyed the video. See you again in the next one.